In order to feel deserving and worthy of a better world, you've got to work for it. And that's, like the scriptures say, that faith without works is dead. And people will say, a lot of preachers will say yes, but, we're saved by faith, not works. Yeah, fine. It doesn't matter. So we don't, it's not like we're trying to put notches in our belt every time we do some good thing for our fellow man and for God. Okay, just by speaking truth to power, speaking out, educating people, empowering people, pulling them out of ignorance, pulling them out of confusion, and saying, look, we got a lot more in common than out of common. We're being divided on purpose. Okay, our views aren't that different economically speaking, socialists and capitalists, good ones, or conservatives and liberals. We're really not that different on a lot of issues. So let's come together on the ones that we're similar about, And the same with, conservatives and liberals and Democrats and Republicans. It's, so that's what they don't want. They don't want you to unify as one force to go against the true evil people that are really manipulating us. These top politicians and the money printing class colluding together, and then all the minions in between, all the chambers of communists that say the more the merrier. This is how they're propping up a failed economy. Of course, it was obviously failed in 2008. They proved that with what they need, the bailout. They needed it in order to save the country, right, from ruin, which they caused on purpose. They dumped all that money recklessly on the market on purpose. We're having to deal with this. So we've got a huge paradox to contend with. In the meantime, we got to fight to be happy, because that's it. Demanding righteousness to be the rule of the day, justice to be the rule of the day in our land, that's fighting the good fight. And it's something we have to do. We must do, because the option is to not do it and then not be deserving of what's to come. Okay, you've got to really want changes in order to get them. You've got to see what that's going to look like. You got to understand that money is going to play little to no role in that paradigm, in that reality. Do you understand? Like on the Isle of Eigg off the coast of Scotland. Look it up. EIGG. Money plays very little part in their society. You have to be a very evolved being to ever hope to emigrate to the Isle of Eigg. Okay, look into it. But it's coming. It's going to be God's will established on earth. It's going to be intellectual honesty being the rule of the day. Okay, and understanding that no man should be born deferent to you or me or anybody else. That we have one to be deferent to, and that is God Almighty, our rightful owner. That we have an instinct to serve one another that God put in us, because we're made in His image and likeness. Is God a lazy slob, decadent pig? Okay, does He just want to sit around all day? How would the universe and all that's contained therein have gotten made? No, God was busily doing this stuff. He that's what we do. I mean, and He appreciates it. He sees that it's good. It's wonderful what He has done, giving us life and letting us share the experience of what it's like to be a God, and His procreation, how beautiful that is, and appreciating beauty and the wonderments of creation, the flora and the fauna and life, light, and it just awesome beauty everywhere. Just, it's a beautiful thing just to exist, and God is sharing that with us, and I want it forever, and I want others to have it. There's no shortage of good things. It's not like, we can't all be endowed with great riches. Okay, we can be, and we will still pull our fair share of the weight. We don't have to worry about those that won't. And if you're worried about yourself, then yeah, you've got an issue. If you think that if you were just handed the world on a silver platter from birth, that you just sit around and be lazy and sleep on beaches all day in the Bahamas or whatever you do. But if you're psychologically screwed up and that's all you want to do with your life is just mooch, 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 take, then that would still be your prerogative. Like even Adam Smith wrote 200 years ago, more than 200 years ago, that a civilized society, okay, can't support a lot of idleness. People can do what they want to do, but you don't have to give them your stuff. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, if people say, hey, they come up and they see you got a lot of stuff, normally you'd give it away to anybody that was out there contributing somehow, giving you something, even if it was poetry, even if it was a work of art of some type. Maybe it was just a song, whatever it is. But if you appreciated what they did for you, then they were free to take whatever you had to offer, or whatever your group had to offer that you were building as a factory, working together as a group, a collective building. Okay. But anyhow, folks, we got to learn to get along with each other. I'm going to try to breeze through current events here. I see I've got less than 5 minutes left on this tape. Oh, God, how I know how to talk, huh? Mad Maxine always has her dog way off the leash, doesn't she? But I think she pissed off the Chamber of Commerce, sorry, Freudian slip, about the, doing business, because businesses, if they feel like they're going to be the target of intimidation and it's going to hurt their business, they don't want political, division. They don't want to just depend on liberals coming to their business, or conservatives, in other words. They want liberals and conservatives to be able to come in there without being harassed. So that's the only time they care, is when the moneyed interests, that's what Trump is doing with the immigration thing. The moneyed interests are upset about it, because this is the way they've been propping up a failed economy, and it's been benefiting them. You understand? Their jobs aren't threatened. There's a whole slew of jobs that are not threatened by undocumented workers. You just can't get into those guilds and whatnot. Okay, look into it. But there's plenty of jobs that are threatened. Okay, your jobs are threatened by undocumented workers. So who's out there virtue signaling is all those whose jobs, we see a lot of, I guess, teachers out there saying that, it's mean to the children. But can you become a teacher if you're undocumented? Can you? You may be able to go to school, but if you're not here legally, you're going to have a problem, likely. Okay, because your immigration status always comes into play, whatever government job you're getting, city, county, state, federal, those laws come into play. So all these government workers that are virtue signaling out there saying, oh, no, let in, and what is the Chamber of Communists? It's like some kind of a quasi proxy or something for these people, because is it private? Is it government? Well, we don't, we're apolitical, right? Because that's the way they work. So they try to embrace the Democrats, Republicans, the evil ones on both sides. Just go along. This will benefit you both. Just shut up. Don't be politically partisan and biased, and don't have views. Just understand you're both going to profit and benefit from this. So go along with this program, this trajectory. So that's how it works. So that's political. They're teamed up. They're unified. That's how they've been so successful. Okay, and then they come off sanctimonious like you're the bad guy for being against all the immigration in the world. You hate children if you don't, and you're against children being together with their parents, even though children are taken away constantly in our society from their parents. But no word about that, and they arbitrarily, capricious laws. They were smoking pot or something, and so the parents aren't fit to have the kids around. But yet you're saying people at danger, then they go with coyotes, give their life savings to these cartels to bring the kids up here, and we should just accept this and let the gangs run roughshod over the people down there and terrorize them, cutting their heads off and running them out of their houses. And yeah, you should welcome that coming here, and you'll have to immigrate to Canada someday, because that's that's where we're headed. Okay, if we go into third world status here, third world hellhole, and gangs are running the streets because the police are too intimidated by the gangs, they don't want to confront them. So they say it's every homeowner for himself, and they're disarmed. For the most part, Latin America is a gun-free zone, so the regular homeowner doesn't have the advantage like Americans have of the right to bear arms and protect themselves. Okay, so is that what you're saying? That's it. That's what I mean about oblivion. These people don't have a plan. The only plan is just to push the envelope as far as they can, and then let the chips fall where they will. They don't know. They can't. They don't have any foresight. That's what I mean. They're short-sighted. They need to be parented, and it's a very unpleasant task to parent these people. Okay, it's no walk in the park, but it needs to be done. And oftentimes, younger people are tasked with parenting older people. That's just the way it is. If you're enlightened, you're enlightened. Age, it doesn't discriminate. So it's tough, and it's a pain in the rump. But that's what it's like, standing up for your principles, standing up for what's right. You've got to do it. You've got to tell them what's what. You've got to show them who's boss. You've got to parent the evildoers. Oh, I said that I thought that California, even though they're talking like California's got this big fat rainy day fund and we're all in the black, Governor Moonbeam is saying, and things are really looking up. No, I just found out that we've got a debt over $1 trillion in California. Who's going to pay it? Who always pays these things? The poor, the labor, working class. It isn't the well heeled people who get cost of living